Hello, and you're very welcome to another GAA podcast. I'm John Gwan, and of course, this podcast is sponsored by orgaricher.com and Atak.ie. Using the promo code GAA podcast to get 15% off on orgaricher.com and get the best games, gloves, and equipment on Atak.ie. Be attack minded. And if you're liking what you're seeing, like and subscribe on YouTube because the sport has been absolutely brilliant so far. Tonight, I'm joined by Ballyboden StEnda's footballer and former Dublin footballer Darragh Nelson to talk about his career, the Dubs, the COVID situation, and everything goes with that at the minute. So, looking forward to chatting to the full Nelson tonight. So, Darragh, how are you keeping?
Full Nelson. I'm good, John. Thanks for having me on. Nice to be here.
No worries at all, sir. I tell you what, my background's different because it's a Skype background, so I'm not in New York. But I think your background would probably be nicer than mine, I imagine.
Yeah, I know. No, I was looking at yours there. I was like, geez, I don't know if there's a few high rises in Cavan, but there you go. There you go. But yeah, no, I put a bit of a few pictures up. I've moved into this house about 3 years ago, so I had to put the shrine up. So,
you need to.
Yeah.
Let herself give the approval. You're happy enough.
Yeah. No, this is my little room. This is my area of the house. So, what I say, go sit in this spot. But it's actually been put on hold for the moment because we had a little baby there 8 months ago. So this is going to be my room slash the playroom. So thanks very much. Yeah.
God,
So it's full on at the moment, but all good.
Same as myself. We lad was one there a couple of weeks ago. So me and you, daddy daycare and all that comes with it, Darragh. So it's a change of perspective. You're telling me you stayed put at the weekend as well. Fair play to you after everything opening up.
Yeah, everything opened up, and no, I stayed put. Now we actually, a few of us got together just to do a little bit of a training session on Monday morning. So that was kind of booked in couple of days before the announcement was made, so we stuck to it and committed to the little training session, even though I'd say a few of us wanted to pull out and go on the rip like everyone else. But I know there'll be plenty more times to enjoy ourselves over the year now. I'm just glad that everything's kind of back to normal and we don't have to really think about things, and all pubs and restaurants are no limits really, and you can kind of go out and enjoy yourself again, not having to worry, hopefully. So it's nice.
Definitely, Darragh, definitely. You'll be thanking yourself now when you win the All-Ireland Championship next year. Now you'll be saying to yourself, Jesus, staying in that one weekend, that proved the difference.
That's the plan. That's the weekend we'll look back on anyway.
The one weekend out of them all. But good stuff there, good stuff. So life is good, you're busy, and so I suppose before we touch on to yourself, obviously Dublin are back. They are O'Byrne Cup champions. Kieran Kilkenny captain Dublin to the O'Byrne Cup on Saturday, so obviously a very good win for them. And have you been keeping an eye on the Dubs so far? Obviously in Allianz National League action against Armagh this Saturday night, so it's all go again there.
It's all go, yeah. No, it's great that it's back, to be honest. Looking forward to it now this weekend. Might tip into it, to be honest, just because we can now, and
about time, yeah.
It'd be nice under the lights of Croke Park Saturday night. Nothing better. But yeah, no, big, yeah, of course, for some anyway. But
them days are gone.
Yeah. Those days are gone, long gone. Jeez. But I've been keeping an eye on them now. I was watching them in the O'Byrne Cup, and we have a few lads in the club who were involved in the O'Byrne Cup getting a crack. So that was good to see. And look, like I'm sure there's a lot of lads involved at the moment in the background, and it's it'll be interesting to see what Desi does this year and who he uses, because obviously there's been a few exits as well over the last season or two, so it'll be interesting to see.
Absolutely, and obviously last year getting bet by Mayo after all them years, and kind of suppose obviously Dublin had a lot of time to think since that and prepare and plan, and that was last August, so there has been a lot of time to kind of get the house in order, for want of a better phrase, Darragh. So I suppose what's maybe the hope and expectations from a Dublin point of view, and obviously Dessie Farrell, big expectation this year, and we've seen Kevin McManaman, Stephen Cluxton, and who else? Philly McMahon step away from Philly McMahon in the last couple of weeks, Darragh. So it's probably looking at maybe bringing a few lads in. I've seen Kieran Archer was playing at the weekend. He's an absolutely sensational player. We all know about him, Darragh. So it's probably about blood and new fellas now, Darragh.
That's it, yeah. Like, I think it just gives opportunity to shake things up and to freshen it up a bit. Especially after losing to Mayo last year, and then the few guys retiring then this year. And with the O'Byrne Cup, it gives the lads a chance to try and impress. Like you mentioned, Kieran Archer, who's been kind of knocking around underage and has impressed over the years. And there was a few lads, as I mentioned, from my club who have been given a shot, like Ross McGarry, who's playing wing forward. Ryan Basquel, who's been thereabouts the last few years as well. Be good to see him get some game time in the Alliance League as well. So, yeah, no, look, I think the thing with Dublin is that we've such a wide choice of players. We're spoiled from that sense, to be honest. So, it'd be interesting to see what he goes with and who he goes with and how they react to last year's semi-final defeat.
Definitely. I suppose kind of what do you maybe think for the year ahead? Because obviously, as you were kind of talking about Saturday night, Armagh, the test of that, Armagh's in good form, good young team building there, and obviously Dublin will be mad to get off to a good start. Dessie Farrell and the gents, and obviously Brian Fenton, Kieran Kilkenny, when they're playing O'Byrne Cup games, Dublin really do mean business this year, Darragh. So a lot to learn from last year. So big expectations once again.
I think so. Yeah, I think obviously over the last 10 years or so, like you expect Dublin to be competing for All Ireland and getting into All Ireland finals at least. Like, so that would be the expectation, no doubt, again, to go out and win the All Ireland. So yeah, look, I know it's early days now, but it's a good test against the likes of Armagh. They're up and coming. I think the last couple of seasons, like you said, they're a young side. They'll be full of energy. They're coming up to Dublin, first game against the Dubs in a while, I'd say. So they'll be looking to stamp their mark. But look, on the flip side, I think with Dublin as well, you have these new players and these guys coming in to try and impress. And I think we'll see a bit of bite with Dublin this year, especially on the back of the defeat and with the new players coming in. I think it will just freshen things up. And like you said, with the blend of players that have been there for years, with Fenton and Kilkenny and Rock and these guys, like Cooper still to play as well this year, and McCarthy and all these guys, like there'll be business as usual, I think, for the Dubs, and the expectation will be to win the All Ireland again, no doubt.
Yeah, they're probably my favourites from an early stage, but I kind of like a general look at it too. You've obviously the likes of Tyrone coming again, Mayo coming again, Kerry coming again, Darragh. So, and obviously Jack O'Connor's gone up to Kerry, so that's obviously a big addition once again for them. Third time in charge. Tyrone, they had a poor McKenna Cup. They'll try to look right them wrongs in the league coming up now, and obviously Mayo. We all know about Mayo, Darragh. So it's going to be a good year, Darragh.
I think so, yeah, and it makes it a bit more interesting as well. A bit more competitive. Yet it's not just Dublin Kerry. You have Tyrone, you have Mayo, you have maybe even Donegal. You don't know, like, really. I think you always think Dublin Kerry, Dublin Mayo maybe to make the final, but like you've kind of teams catching up with the likes of Dublin and Kerry now, other counties, and they'll be knocking on the door, I think, this year, like you said as well. Jack O'Connor going back with Kerry is a big one, I think. We'll see how they get on. Even like, I'm excited to see how Leinster plans out, because it's always kind of really been Dublin, but you have the likes of Meath, kind of, who have been kind of knocking on the door, and they'll feel hard done by, I think, last year against Dublin. No, they were beaten in the end, but I think they had a good opportunity to really put them to the wire. You have new management in Kildare as well, with our old manager Anthony Rainbow on the management team as well. So yeah, look, I think it'll be interesting year. I think everyone will be looking forward to it, to be honest.
Darragh, definitely. It all starts this weekend. We cannot wait for it. So it'll be great action, and obviously Dublin Armagh RT2 at 7 o'clock on Saturday. So if you get out for a few points after that, it sets up very well, Darragh. We're all looking forward to it now, and I'm looking forward to Leitrim on Sunday. So it's two sides of the coin, Darragh. It really is. We need to get the hell out of Division 4, but that's another day's talk, Darragh. Well, tonight we could touch on your career with Ballyboden, StEnda's, and the Dubs, obviously. So obviously very successful with both. So I can list out your honours. You sent them to me earlier on. You won an under-21 title in 2010 with the Dubs. You picked very, very well in 2011, 2013 to be on the senior team because you won All Ireland on both years, Darragh. So fair play on that regard. You're like yourself down in Cavan, you're cute. Club county champions with Ballyboden in 09, 2015, 2019, and a club Leinster title in 2015 and 19, and an All Ireland in 2016. And I believe Tom Hayes was pivotal into 2019 with Darragh, so we'll have to give Tom a mention. But we could.
Tom's a good lad. He's a good lad. I think he's a chef these days, or trying to be a chef.
Yeah,
I think he's Yeah. Big shout out to Tom. Great man. His brother's playing with us now. Go bit, Josh.
Yeah. What is it about Cavan and Darragh transforming clubs, getting titles on board? Great lads on board.
Sure. Look, yeah.
Eamon Riley as well. Great fella to have. But I suppose, Darragh, touching on to all that, and obviously we can touch on to Ballyboden first, but how special of a club is it in Rathfarnham there? It's you have 3 or 4 teams put together, and obviously breaking on to the A team, that's an achievement in itself because it is such a broad club. The competition for places is obviously huge, I can well imagine. So, it's a special club there, Darragh.
Yeah, no, it's massive. I started obviously probably every other Gaelic player, when under 9s, under 10s, or in the academy or whatnot, and yeah, played a couple of sports when I was growing up and tried to do the Gaelic and the soccer, and then it just got to an age where I preferred to get the GAA, and now Ballyboden have been a very special club for me. To be honest, they've come a long way as well since I've joined. They've even in terms of winning senior football titles, the only one they won was in '95 when I started playing senior. So my first year I started playing senior in 09, and that was my first year, and that was the year we won the county championship against St. Jude's. So my first year I was blessed joining the Ballyboden senior team, because there was such a drought winning county championships, so it kind of just skyrocket. I've just timing, to be honest, just playing with great players and great teams, having some great managers, and there's some, like you said, there's some great people involved in the club, and where I was starting out 10 years ago to where I was now, or 10 years ago since we won or 10 or 11, 12 years since we won the 09 championship to where we are now. It's come on leaps and bounds since. So yeah, it's a fantastic club, great club to be involved in. As you said, it's massive, but you still get that community feel being around it, and playing with all the lads you grew up with as well. So it's great.
And just on a side note there, obviously you did say you won the county title in 09, 15 and 19. Did you win in 16 as well to get to the All Ireland?
Well, yeah, because it was the county championship was obviously started in 2015, September, October time, and then it rolled into 2016 for the All Ireland, if you get me, for Paddy's Day. Okay. So yeah, that was
perfect,
all the same.
Perfect.
That was all the
same
season. Yes. Yeah. So,
okay.
So yeah, we won that in 2015 against Vincent's. Vincent's were going for, I think, 3 in a row.
Right.
County titles, and we kind of put a stop to that. Kind of been knocking on the door the last 2 years. Andy McEntee was our manager at the time, the current lead manager. So, we kind of just came out of the traps that day, and I think the game was over really at half time, or just the start of the second half. We built up a pretty big lead, and it was hard for Vincent to come back. So yeah, no, that was honestly the best year, to be honest. 2015, and then the All Ireland in 2016 on Paddy's Day. Like we'd some epic battles, epic games. It was a savage journey, to be honest.
Definitely, Darragh, definitely. Obviously, talk to me about the kind of competitive nature within Dublin in club ball, because obviously I think Conor Mortimer said he done a stint in Dublin with Parnells, and he was just basically saying the standard of club football in Dublin is nearly the comparison of, say, a championship game in club in Dublin is there the comparison of a league game and county level, or to that kind of degree, Darragh? So it's nip and tuck. You're really going to test yourself, and even if you are in the Dublin County panel, you're still going to prepare yourself and excel yourself in the Dublin Club Championship, because at the end of the day, Darragh, we're probably looking at some of the best players to play the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I think the Dublin Club Championship or the club scene is hugely competitive. Like not just probably like senior one, but like senior two as well. Like you've just like you just don't know who's gonna come out winners each year. I think. Like I know there's probably 6 or 7 teams that you could say could definitely win the championship. Like, and it's brilliant because it just brings on players in around Dublin, and that just then feeds into the county as well, which is brilliant. Like, so I mean, like we've won a couple of titles the last few years. You've obviously had Vincent's dominating as well, Crokes as well, and obviously they're playing in an All Ireland semi-final this weekend. Like you've had Jules as well in finals, semi-finals. Like it, we played Thomas Davis in 2019. Like there's a huge amount of clubs that can compete for the Dublin Championship. Like I think when we go out at the start of the year, we always try and say, look, we'll set our visions on a club All Ireland, because you have to aim high, but we're really just focusing on Dublin. And once you crack Dublin, then you kind of look beyond on what you can achieve. So, yeah, like you try and just be really, really focused on Dublin going into the championship, and just try to get out of that, because it's just so competitive. And apologies if you can pick up the baby screaming in the background there.
Mine's next door, fast asleep, so don't worry, Darragh. God knows what might happen in a couple of minutes, so I'm just here.
Good stuff. But no, but yeah, like I said, I think it's
a shout out to our partners, by the way. A shout out to our partners. Jeez, it wasn't for them.
Absolutely. Lauren, you're doing a great job. Appreciate it. Like, really appreciate it. But yeah, that's a crack. Like, yeah, Conor Mortimer obviously mentioned, like, it's competitive. Like, you've had obviously a couple of county lads moving up and playing. Like, you've had Paul Galvin playing with Oliver Plunkett's.
That was only for a year, Darragh, wasn't it?
I think it was only a year or two. Yeah. But yeah, be interesting to hear actually a few more of what the country lads think moving up and comparing it to their club scene. But no, I love going into each year, because it's always going to be a battle. It's never going to be a rollover for anyone. Like, or no one's really going to dominate it. Like, it's always going to be a battle. So
yeah.
But that's what makes it great and enjoyable. Like, yeah, you can't win all the time. That's just sport. But you know, you're competing against some of the great teams and some of the great players, and especially in Dublin, because Dublin have been so dominant from a county perspective, winning All Ireland. So, you know, you're playing against them when it comes to club matches and club championships. So
yeah,
no, that's good.
Definitely, Darragh, definitely. Obviously, kind of starting off, Darragh, when you were a young lad, kind of going down to the pitch in Ballyboden and kind of kicking around with your mates and just having the fun, and I suppose kind of looking ahead, and obviously, you know, I suppose with you know, thinking what you could win and all this kind of crack, and obviously the list of medals and achievements you have won, getting onto the Dublin team, like, is this kind of stuff for dreams, all the kind of stuff you did win, like, you know, setting off, that you think, you know, right, I'd love to get involved, or you can just playing it by year, or you kind of just thinking year in, year out, right, this is where I want to be, and this is the success I want to have?
Yeah, it's a funny one, to be honest. Like, like I mentioned, like, I suppose in 2009, coming into the senior team at Ballyboden, and we won the county championship. That really kind of kickstarted everything for me. I played minor with the county all right the year before that. But I think we were knocked out second round against Meath, but we'll put that to bed. But we won't talk about that anymore. But yeah, 09 was kind of where everything kick-started, to be honest. I was brought into the Dublin panel then in 2010 when Pat Gilroy was manager, and got a couple of minutes here and there in O'Byrne Cup, and I think maybe the National League, couple of minutes as well. But things were, I wasn't nowhere near that where I wanted to be. It was great to be involved in, but I think I went off travelling that summer. I was just a young buck as well, like, so. Obviously went back then in 2011, and that was a bit of a crazy year for all those reasons. Dublin not winning the All Ireland since '95, and then being involved in that panel for 2011 was a massive learning curve for me as well. Just in terms of being around that team, that culture, and those personalities, and learning so much at a young age, and then obviously being involved in under 21s as well. So in 2010, Jim Gavin was the manager of the under 21 team in 2010. So we won the All Ireland against Donegal that year, and the year prior to 2011, going into the senior team. So yeah, a lot of success kind of happened in those 3 years for me. So I got a taste for it, to be honest. And then I wasn't really planning each year. I just thought then, like, I'll go back then each year with Dublin, and I'll progress and I'll play more. Yeah, I played a bit more of National League games and things like that. But I think I made the bench for a couple of championship games, but never featured. Never got championship minutes under my belt. Then I go back like the following year. I'd be like, that would be my goal, kind of thing. Like, to play championship, and never really kind of worked out, which was very frustrating at the time. But
who was the manager? Was it Jim?
It was Jim at that time, yeah. So obviously Jim came in in 2013. So Pat's last year was 2012. Jim came in 2013, changed things up a bit. Yeah, and obviously Jim had known me from 2010 and 2011 when he was the under 21 manager. So yeah, probably thought like, okay, Jim's manager here, like, we've a good kind of relationship here. Let's see how things kind of pan out. But no, nothing really developed in terms of championship. And look, like, we had a great squad, we had great players, very few injuries as well, and chances were hard to come by. But at the same time, you're playing well and you're just getting frustrated. So took the decision at the end of 2014 when we were beaten by Donegal in the semi-final. Yeah.
Did you come on that day, Darragh? I think you come on.
No. Never. Like, as I said, never played championship. Unfortunately, never got onto the pitch for the championship. Just National League and O'Byrne Cup and whatnot, and the bench for a couple of championship games. But that was it, really. So yeah, a lot of success, but a lot of frustration at the same time.
At least you had a good view of the games at Croker.
I had a great view. Probably the best. I remember actually in 2011 I was on the bench, like, and it was coming down. Cluxton just put the ball over the bar, and every like, the place was rocking. Obviously, the place was shaking. Right. Everybody going crazy. Yeah, crazy scenes, like, and like, I didn't even notice, but like, I was the only one just still at the bench. Everyone else was down pitch side, ready to run onto the pitch, like, and you're just so caught up that, like, it was just like, the final whistle went or whatever, and I just, like, was turning to someone to hug, and everyone was already gone. I was just like, get down there, like. So yeah, that was great, like. But like I said, a lot of frustration at the same time over the years. Looking back now, what I could have done a bit better and kind of things, like. But
the lads you're competing against, though, to get onto that starting team, Darragh, like you're not talking about any Joe Soaps here. We're talking who was on the 2011 say half back line at that time. Kevin Nolan.
Kevin Nolan, James McCarthy, and
Jesus Christ.
Keane O'Sullivan. So yeah,
here, Darragh, I wouldn't be beating yourself up now, Jesus.
and then you have Jack McCaffrey coming in a few years. Yeah, so I don't know. Look, like it's like obviously they're unbelievable players, and like I said, it's hard to get in when they're playing to the best that they are, and when there's little or no injuries, really, the kind of way. So look. Yeah. It's like I said, it's been great to be involved with them and be involved with the panel and the teams over the years. But then I took the decision I met Jim after 2014 and kind of stepped away, just getting frustrated. As I said, wasn't playing, just kind of playing training matches in National League. So I just wanted to go back playing more matches with the club and stuff. That was the crack there.
Definitely. I suppose it's kind of funny maybe when you look back and that, like I've talked to numerous players about this even within Cav and any other county or Darragh, but I suppose when you're in that kind of bubble, and I know obviously to get your hands on the All-Ireland in 2011, 2013, and with the game time obviously wasn't coming plentiful, and now you're obviously getting the chance 2022 now to look back on it all, Darragh. When you're in that bubble, it all does seem perfectly fine. The commitment, the runs, the late nights, everything that goes with it, Darragh. I suppose when you kind of look back on it, what would be your opinion on it now? Because obviously, Ballyboden seriously successful in them same year, seriously successful as we speak now. So when you look back, what was the kind of thoughts now? Like obviously frustration, but what would be the outgoing thoughts, I suppose?
Yeah, I think like looking back on it, I think because I came back into Ballyboden, and we had a lot of success then over those years. But I think it's hard. Like I think when you're definitely in that bubble, like you said, everything seems like plain sailing. Like you're in peak fitness. Like you're training week in week out with the Dubs. Like what's wrong with that, like kind of thing. But there is something more as a competitor, that like you want to be playing matches like week in week out in Croke Park, like and when you're not, that kind of just chips away at you. So I don't know, looking back, like I see now players kind of who are kind of similar, maybe in my position. They're on the periphery, kind of, the kind of way they're trying to break into the team. And I not that I'd be saying to them that, look, don't waste your time, kind of thing, but don't
get bogged in.
Don't get bogged in, because like as well, like you said, like the club are there, and you're playing week in week out, and you can, when you get on a club run, it's the best journey ever. Like, so
yeah,
it's a hard one. It is a hard one. Like I was glad when I did it, like, because I could have easily just said, no, I'll give it another year and I'll just it could work out the same, and get a couple of minutes here and there in the league, and maybe get on the bench for a championship kind of thing. But no, I was happy with just to kind of cut ties, get away, get back to playing regular football, and like I was delighted because we were able to compete at a club level and be successful. So it just worked out for me personally anyway. But yeah, like if there are other players in that situation, and things aren't if things aren't working out, kind of thing, I'd just kind of reflect and have a look and see if it's the best thing to be doing, because it can be frustrating, in my opinion. But look, you need a panel to be successful as well. That's the other thing. So you do need 30 odd lads involved.
Yeah, and I suppose kind of on that as well, Darragh, like the players probably involved with county teams at the minute, do they get lost in the moment? Is it just that kind of will to just maybe be seen on the county? Maybe not, well, not in Dublin because obviously you need to work so hard, but in some kind of cases, Darragh, is it just the kind of maybe the will to maybe being on the county? Like, is it, do they get so kind of lost in the moment that they might have this burning desire, it doesn't work on for them, they come back to the club, they're just maybe not fit for the club, it just seems a bit of a, effort that they don't want to kind of give in, Darragh. So maybe lads in the county at times, like, does it just maybe lost in the moment a bit? Oh, like I'm training, I'm getting the gear, I'm with the lads, I'm doing this, but behind it all, Darragh, it's probably not benefiting you really.
Yeah, maybe there could be a bit of that, and maybe there was a bit of that in the past. I think nowadays it might be a little bit different. I think like there's that, like you have to be at like such a serious standard to be on the county team. Like nowadays, even more so. When I was involved, I think like it's crazy. Like the fitness levels and the strength and everything that you have to be now, like so that you have to be at now. So I don't know. I maybe in the past, being on the county team and whatever, showing like maybe there were a couple of players years ago like that, like just happy to be there kind of thing. But nowadays, I don't think you get away with that. Players like that, the kind of way. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny. It's funny just how it just transitioned for me, and then I was just lucky in the sense that we had such a strong club team, such a strong team to come back to with the club, and we were able to compete. It might be different for other lads. The club team mightn't be as strong. They might be intermediate or junior, but they're up at the county scene because they are that good. So it is different for everyone, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just knew I just wanted to be playing more football, to be honest, because I just wasn't enjoying it as much. I remember begging Jim one day after training I think we were playing a friendly. I think it was actually against Cavan Gales.
Jesus, right.
Yeah, with the club. Was it Cavan Gales?
Probably was. The most recognised club in Cavan anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I think when Andy McEntee was our manager.
Right.
And I begged Jim, instead of missing out, I just wanted to play a game instead of training or something, like with the Dubs. I was just like, I think it would benefit me. I just want to go play a match, like. And anyway, played against them, just friendly, and I got so frustrated during that game. I just walked off the pitch. I think just the anger and everything was just coming out of me. It was just building up.
Did you get sent off, Darragh, or you just walked off?
No, I just walked off. I wasn't playing well. My head was all over the place, and I just walked off the pitch, like, and then.
Where'd you end up?
What?
Where'd you end up?
Oh God, no, it wasn't that bad, no. But no, I remember McEntee just pulling me aside after the game. He knew from me. He was like, and I remember like we went back to his house and had a chat, like, and we just had a good chat about things, of where I was with the Dubs and where he wanted to be with Ballyboden, because he was there for a few years now, and we had big hopes to win a county again. So that kind of steered it for me, to be honest, John. And yeah, it's just something that sticks with me. I'll just that moment, just going back to the club and leaving the Dubs. It was a big decision, but it was the right decision,
Yeah, and like when you're in that kind of heated moment, and you're probably thinking like the game against Cavan Gales, obviously going through the motions, a friendly game, so it's not like it's going to be rip roaring. Like it was probably easy come easy go, I suppose, to a degree there. So like was it just did kind of with Dublin, it was kind of bubbling away in your head, and you just said, right, do you know what, I need to just get off the pitch here, or just kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it was just, I just couldn't see anything really changing, and that's down to me as well as a player. Like I could have been doing something more. Now looking back over the years, what could I have done more? The kind of way. But yeah, like you said, it was just something that was bubbling away in your head. Like you want to just be playing and starting and being involved more, and you weren't. Some days you're left out of match day squads and things, and you're just like, hang on, like this isn't right. Don't want to be doing this. So And look, obviously it was the right decision for me to walk away from the Dubs in 2014, because 2015 they went on the run and win 5 in a row. So it was obviously worked out for them as well.
Jesus,
so worked out for everyone. But
yeah,
all good.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah. Definitely, Darragh, definitely. Yeah, so we could touch, like, obviously on the success you did have at Ballyboden, and obviously we did kind of say about the 2009, 15, 19, Leinster 15, 19, and then All Ireland in 2016, Darragh. But I think if we could touch on 2015, Darragh, you're looking at the likes of Oliver Plunkett's, you're looking at St Vincent's. Like, St Vincent's just a supremely impressive team, but they've been relegated down to intermediate now, haven't they, Darragh?
That's right. Yeah.
So
at the end of last year, yeah.
So, like, in 2015, you obviously had them to pick the powers, obviously Conley, Mossy Quinn, and all the boys flying, and obviously Ollie Plunkett's, and just littered with talented players, I suppose, there. So, to win that title in 2015 with teams of that caliber in that competition, Darragh, that's no mean feat.
Yeah, no, and as I said, like previously, it was all the games were so tight. Like in Dublin that year, in Leinster, like every game was just a huge battle. Like you said, we played Plunkett's. You have the Brogans still playing there. Nesty Smith, Ross McConnell, Vincent's obviously in the final. Connolly, Ger Brennan, Mossy Quinn, Fennell, like all these stalwarts.
Who are you marking against Vincent?
Who was I marking? No, I was marking. I think I was marking Cormac Diamond. I was wing back that day.
You see,
back. Jesus.
You see Connolly coming. He said, "Slay up
right
here."
I think we actually did. We changed a few things around. We were doing a few matchups, and I think we put Bob Dewan on Connolly that day to do a man marking job. I think I marked Connolly maybe the year before that. Definitely the year before, or two years before that, and in the semi-final. And I swear to God, he destroyed me. Destroyed me. Left foot, right foot. I'm glad I wasn't marking him, to be honest. I'm glad it was Bob, because it just freed me up a little bit more. Well, I disappeared there. There we go. But,
no, you're all good. Go on ahead, James.
But yeah, no, Connolly was immense for those few years. Like, he'd tear teams apart. Like, definitely probably the toughest opponent I've ever marked.
I was going to ask you that at the end. Oh,
Well. Well, there's been a few I've marked. So like I can list them off, no doubt. But Connolly's sick. Like, his strength, power, pace. You don't know whether he's going to shoot with his right or left. Like, he's gifted off both. When he's on, and he's just hard. He just, I think sometimes you just have to hold your hands up, like, because you're just watching a genius at work.
Did he call it a day too early with the Dubs, Darragh, do you reckon?
I think definitely. Like, I don't know what. Like, he's obviously won so much with them that he might have called it early. Obviously, it was a personal decision. But
he looks like he's enjoying himself anyway at the minute.
Absolutely, yeah. There's probably a few more years in him, no doubt. Even now, like, but
he's done with Vincent's too, I think, is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But look, each to their own. He owes Dublin and Vincent's nothing at this stage. He's won so much and done so much for them, so he'll go down as a legend. To be honest, I'm glad he's finished anyway, because don't have to put up with him anymore.
Yeah.
That's the other side of things.
He might be back. Yeah, he might be back to bring Vincent's back up to senior grade. No, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
If I was the manager, I'd be get back, please. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you wouldn't want to let him go. But yeah, they had obviously the glory years as well, winning All Irelands and stuff. So, and he was the centre of all that. So Maybe he's fed up and just won enough. He's done it all. He's done it all. In fairness to him.
Yeah, the Eric Cantona of GAA there, I think, would be the best way to describe Mr. DC. And as I was saying, winning that kind of county title in 2015, Darren, we were after alluding to some absolutely, fantastic players there. But a proud day for the club there, because obviously, your first win since 2009, so maybe a bit of a barren spell for the quality and standard that you do have in Ballyboden. So to get your hands back on that title, it was a special feeling of it.
Yeah, massive. Like I said, club championship is, to be honest, the hardest and the most satisfying one to win, because it's just, there's so many competitive clubs out there. I'm lucky enough to have won 3 now, and the club have only won 4 in its history. So feel absolutely blessed. I definitely, what am I, 31 now? Be 32 this year. You're starting to feel it a little bit creeping in. The bones are getting a bit stiffer, but you kind of know, you realize then that you want to make each year, you want to just make it count and try and win now as much as possible, especially for all the new lads coming through. You want to get them to win their first as well. So feel very lucky to have won in 2015, 2016, 2015 All Ireland, 2016, and obviously 2019 as well. We're unlucky not to get to the All Ireland final in 2019. Kilcoo beat us, who are playing the All Ireland semi-final obviously this weekend.
Seriously good team.
Yeah. To be honest, I think maybe we underestimated them slightly in 2019. They bet us well, to be honest, that day. But the plan, very happy with what we've achieved so far with the club, and hopefully it's not the last.
Definitely, Darragh, definitely. Obviously, touching on to the Leinster success in 2015, and obviously following that was from the winning Dublin Cup Championship, and obviously in 2019 as well, Darragh. So seriously impressive stuff again. And obviously, it's not like you aren't a little bit talented yourself. Mickey D. McCauley, star-studded names, and obviously we've seen the documentary on MDMA last week, and TJ Carr, a great watch by all accounts, Darragh. So Leinster Championship success in 2015 on 19 in a very competitive province, mind you. Obviously great teams littered in that. So great days again for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, once you get out of Dublin, you can start focusing now on Leinster and All Ireland's then, I think, because there's such a focus on Dublin. Once teams get out of that, then the doors are open. You can go on and can hopefully compete for Leinster and then All Ireland. So I think 2015 we had a good battle with Lomans of Westmeath that year, John Heslin and the likes were playing that day. So tough. That was a tough battle as well. And then we had the final against Portlaoise in Tullamore. So obviously, I think everyone's aware of how successful Portlaoise are in terms of county titles and even Leinster. So that was our first Leinster final for the club in the club's history for football. So we'd never got to the final before. So to be honest, that was my most enjoyable game. Looking back on it, because it was just end to end. It was relentless. You just didn't get a second to breathe, to be honest with you, John. And I think when you come out the other side in games like that, it's so satisfying.
Yeah. Dogfights.
It is a dogfight. They're great. And I remember they missed a free at the end, to push extra time, and they had another chance from that kick out to draw the game as well, and they missed. And it's just the luck was with us that day as well, the rub of the green. So great days for the club, to be honest. I think McCauley got a goal that game in the first half, if memory serves me well. Then I think we had Aaron Waters coming off the bench. He was a massive player for the club. he kicked the winning score that day. Sailed over the bar. So yeah, no, great day with the club, great celebrations. I think it finished up just before a week or two before the Christmas period, so we had a break then before playing Clonmel in the All Ireland semi-final. So yeah, to say we enjoyed that one is an understatement.
No doubt you did. And All Ireland success in 2016. Darragh was at the game myself. It was an impressive win, and Croke Park. And I suppose this particular final, Darragh, definitely would have been special for you because obviously if you were kind of maybe on the fringes of the Dublin team in 2011 and 2013, Darragh, 2016 must have been very special for you. Captain, you lift the cup, you walk up the steps of the Hogan stand, Darragh. So that's what you've always dreamt of, especially winning for Ballyboden.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Proud moment for me, my family, for the club, the team, everyone. To be honest, that is what you dream of, essentially. Captaining your club to All Ireland. But it was, like I said, it was an amazing year. We had an amazing team, group of players. That year, a good blend of experience and youth coming in that year, and yeah, we beat Castlebar and Mitchells that day. To be honest, obviously that was our best game. We just came out of the traps and blitzed them in the first half, and the game was over. And it's funny because every other game previous to that went down to the wire. So we thought that this game would obviously go down to the wire. Final in Croke Park, Paddy's Day. Castlebar had been to the All Ireland final against Vincent's a couple of years before that, and they were beaten by Vincent's.
Oh, 2014, Darragh.
2014, yeah, that's right.
Oh, the Connolly show, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, back to Connolly.
Unbelievable. Dedicated podcast to the man.
Yeah, why not? But we just, I don't know, Castlebar just were flat that day, and we were just on fire. Everything was going over the bar, everything was going in the back of the net for us. So yeah, it was a nice way to finish up the whole campaign, because, like I said, every other game was just very close, down to the wire. 1 point win, extra time, coming through on extra time, but yeah, proud moment that day, to be honest. Great moment. I'd like to think that we'll be back there again as a club in the coming years. Who knows?
Before you hit the bucket,
exactly. Yeah. One more time, anyway.
One more time, and All Ireland club final. Yeah, Jesus, the realization only hit me today when I was looking at the semi-final fixtures. Obviously this weekend, and then the final will be in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And I have a pundit, Kevin McGurdy, he plays for St. Galls, and he was a couple of months ago. He was giving out about St. Paddy's Day that being moved. Maybe Darragh, maybe to get your thoughts on that, for that to be moved from St. Paddy's Day, because that was a special day. You go up to Dublin, you enjoy a few pints. For that to be taken away, Darragh, madness.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially GAA people, what they associate with Paddy's Day is going into Croke Park, even for the neutral. It's a day out. Obviously, it's great for the clubs involved on the day. The clubs get to travel up, and it's Paddy's Day, it's day off and whatnot. But it's a bit of a strange one moving it. The whole thing about the GAA calendar and trying to figure it out, it's
mad, yeah.
It's mind-boggling. I just I try to avoid it, to be honest. I just once I'm told I'm playing on this day, I just go out and play and just focus on that. I try not to get too bogged down. But no, it is, in one sense, looking back that year, we won in 2015 the Leinster title against Portlaoise in December, and then our All Ireland semi-final wasn't until
February,
I think February, 14th of February or something, Valentine's Day, I think it was. It's a big gap. So like I don't like the way there is such big gaps between games like that. You'd rather just like a campaign week in, week out playing, and just that's it. Like, I think that's what the GAA are trying to do now. They are trying to condense it a lot more and get rid of these big long gaps. Because like I don't think it benefits anyone. Like we were flying going into that Leinster final, and we had a lot of momentum. And then there was such a big break that you're waiting and waiting for the game. And when we played Clonmel, we were awful. Like we were so lucky to win that game to force extra time. Like it was just the gaps were too long. So I can see what they're trying to do. But yeah, like I said, you do associate Paddy's Day with All Ireland club finals, and it is iconic like that day, to associate that day with the clubs. So it is a pity that has been changed. But I don't know. Maybe they'll figure it all out and move it back eventually. Who knows?
It'd be great, Darragh. It'd be great, because it'd be a big miss. Jeez, that's why you'd be going up to Dublin for it. It was great fun. Hopefully they can reinstate that. But Darragh, obviously your clubmate Michael Darragh Macaulay, a series documentary on him last Thursday. A man, probably take or leave GAA. He probably has one of the best CVs regarding the GAA we've seen and will see. Darragh, a few minutes on the MDMA.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Where do you start? Yeah, no, like great to be involved in the documentary, to be honest. Like Mick's a good friend. Obviously played with him, still playing with him, even though he's in Sri Lanka at the moment. Sunning himself and doing surfing away and scuba diving and whatnot. He's great. Like I said on the documentary, like he's a great player to have around, because he just brings a bundle of energy. Like he does things his own way. As you probably saw from the documentary. And like, yeah, he's such a fierce competitor. Great person to have on your team. Like I said, I'd hate to be playing against him, because he just goes out to win and to compete, and that's what he does. And he's such a wrecking ball, like, which was also mentioned by a lot of people. I love the way Tom Parsons just always said, like, when Mick was on the bench for a few of the games that he was dropped for, and Tom Parsons would be like, you think, it's hard enough marking Paul Flynn or McCarthy or Fenton or whatever, and then or Bastick, and then you have MDMA coming off the bench, like fresh and ready to go. Like, he just, you can see in Tom's face that he dreaded it. Like, so look, he's brilliant. He brought a lot of success to that team, and like what Paul Flynn said at the end, like he brought a lot to the culture as well. Like, and that sense of training hard, being a competitor, but having a good time as well, and celebrating. Like he loved to celebrate. He didn't shy away from that either.
I know, we've seen him a few times.
Yeah, the old work hard, play hard. Play harder probably, but no, that's like, Mick. I could tell you a few stories on Mick. That obviously that story about the skateboard at the wedding is real. him doing the cruise shit. Like you just wouldn't be surprised. You're not surprised with him just on a skateboard, just floating around the place. And even like a unicycle. I think he tried to give the unicycle a go at one stage. Like he gets these mad ideas into his head and he just goes with it. Like,
yeah.
But, I know he's done it all. He's won it all. Yeah.
And I'm intrigued by him as well, Darragh. Like, geez, he'd be on my bucket list to get on this show now. But like his kind of relaxed kind of attitude towards it all, and him even saying, I think he didn't even know who Aidan O'Mahony was that time. He had to mark him, and just general stuff like that, Darragh. And it probably is honesty, because he does come across as a very honest fella. Jesus, as you well know, of course. But like that kind of relaxed sort of attitude he has towards the game. Did that help towards the success and all the success that he did have there?
Definitely, I think so. And like he is so relaxed. Like nothing phases him. When he's going into a game, I think he said in the documentary, like he wasn't concerned of going up against anyone, because he wanted I think the line was like, they had to put up with him. They've never met someone like him before, so he just had that confidence, and it wasn't cockiness or anything. Like, he's just he just you can just tell that he just believes in his own ability, and yeah, he just does his own thing. He doesn't think about it, like. And again, I don't know if you get away with it now, kind of thing. I think, like, I don't know, teams have shifted. Like, he brings a lot of he's a great personality, like, to have in the dressing room. And like, I remember we were warming up for a National League game against Kerry in 2011 in Croke Park, and it was at the time when they did like a couple of music gigs, like, before the games and at halftime and stuff like that. And Damon Dempsey was playing before the game, or at halftime, and he was out. Mick's a massive Damo fan, and we were warming up in the indoor place in Croke Park in the dressing room, and he got wind that Damo was outside, so he left the warm up and got the back of his jersey signed just before he was going out to play Kerry in the National League.
Yeah,
and he comes back in then topless with his shirt over, rejoins the warm up, and then we go back in for the final talk before going out on the pitch. Gilroy's giving the final talk.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting beside him, and he's showing me the jersey, and he's like, I actually can't wear this. Like he's a mad character, but different. Yeah. Don't know if you get away with that now, but I think he got a spare jersey anyway for the game. So I
wouldn't mind seeing what Jim Gavin's reaction to that would have been.
Yeah. Could have been a lot different. Yeah,
that would have told its own story, I suppose, Darren. I suppose, kind of, looking back on it, like, how proud are you of all the success you have had with obviously Dublin and Ballyboden, StEnda's? Like, it's when you sent it to me in text earlier on, it was just it's remarkable stuff. And I suppose maybe like, you come across as a fellow who obviously it just kind of gets on with it, and there'll be other lads maybe gloating about it, but it's probably just the norm for you. But looking back, Darragh, how proud are you of it all?
Yeah, no, immensely proud. Like, to be honest, because I'm still playing with the club, I haven't really like looked back or look back on the achievements yet. Like, there'll be plenty of time when I hang up the boots or whatever, But no, it is proud what like the teams I've been involved in, and the stuff that I've been part of and that we've won. Especially with the club, like, because it's so close to home, But yeah, I'm like I said, I just want to continue playing, and then once I'm done, then I'll look back on everything and be like, okay, no, happy with that. But no, I think even just looking back at the documentary with Mick, like, because it would have been associated on a lot of those days as well, with the club and the early days in Dublin, like. Immensely proud. Lucky enough as well to have played with such great players all at the same time, and to be involved with great managers as well. Like we mentioned Mick at a club level, but like there's been so many, and still so many, like Declan O'Mahony, who's been knocking around the Dubs for a few years as well, and Keeney as well.
Colin Keeney,
like, yeah, who's like, like still playing. And still smashing it, like, for hurling and football. So yeah, like we've been blessed with or I've been blessed to play with such great teams and great players. over the years. And I just want to try and use that and use what I've won over the last few years and try and win as much as possible now for the next few years for lads who have come through as well with the club, to bring them on because it doesn't last forever. So you try and make the most of each year now, and that's it really. Yeah, just give it another lash and see what happens, and try to win a few more before the day's out.
Definitely, Darragh, definitely. And obviously, kind of when you did obviously finish up with the Dubs, and having Ballyboden there, and that just does go to show the club is so vitally important. And obviously, you see kind of so many, as we were saying a couple of minutes ago, county lads kind of getting so engulfed in it, they're obsessed with it. So it is so bloody important to really look after a club, cherish it there, because obviously when it's where you start, it's where you finish. You did have that weekend of stint with Dublin. You came back with Ballyboden, you serious success with them. Hopefully now for the next couple of years it's going to be successful with them as well, Darragh. So it's a great thing to, I suppose, fall back on and cherish really.
Oh, definitely. Like I think when you start off playing with the club, like I think the ambition at the start is to try and get into the county, like if you're good enough, 100%. Like, but yeah, to be honest, like I've loved every minute of playing with the club, and I wouldn't, when I look back and I see like the Dubs winning the 5 in a row and that, like comparing that to winning the All Ireland in 2016 with the club and captain and that, like I'd have that any day, to be honest, because you don't know if that's going to happen again, kind of thing with the club. It's a hard one to win. So yeah, cherish those days a lot with Ballyboden, and yeah, like I said, we'll see what happens in the next few years as well. I think I'm hoping we'll be thereabouts this year anyway, and we'll go again, and it won't be the last. We'll see Ballyboden in Croke Park, either on Paddy's Day or not Paddy's Day.
Yeah, to put the bookies' favourites there, and then lastly on it, I suppose, even kind of regarding the Dubs and maybe overall, like the commitment and training and everything that goes into, I suppose if you want to win, it's a commitment you need to put in. But we've seen videos maybe of the Dublin lads kind of training back in 2011, and obviously you were part of that, running up hills, early mornings, beaches, everything went with it. It was the key to success, and I suppose look what's happened since, Darragh. So, like, did you enjoy maybe the commitment? I know you're still playing, but even the commitment that the club, the county, I suppose, when you're involved with the county, that it did bring to your life?
Yeah, no, like I loved it. I think being a part of that environment, that like you're just with a team and players around you who are like, everyone's on the same path and same goal and driving each other, and it's brilliant because it brings you on as well. Like you don't want to be the one falling behind or dragging things behind, kind of thing. Like, so it was great being part of those teams, because you learn so much being in teams at that with that high quality and high performance levels, and you can use that and learn that and transfer it to aspects of your life as well. Like, yeah, there were hard sessions early days with the Dubs, and those famous morning sessions and running up and down sand dunes and things like that. But you look back at it now and you're like, they were great. Like, they were puke awful at the time, but they were so worth it. Like, and there's nothing better than going to the well or going through a good training session and coming out feeling like you've bettered yourself here, and everyone's kind of buzzing. Like, there is a real good feeling around that type of training and being in that type of environment. And so yeah, no, there's some elements I don't miss, but nowadays, especially having a little 8-month-old, but no, look, you try putting the hard slog when you just have to be a bit more selective with time and now these days. But Yeah. Well.
Fond memories, as I said, are fond memories. And I suppose last couple of questions. You've been great with your time. I suppose kind of looking back, and you suppose like a general kind of advice maybe to a young Darragh Nelson around Dublin there, or anywhere around, I suppose Ireland, Darragh. I suppose, what advice kind of would you give someone kind of maybe making the break onto a county team, even their club team? What kind of advice would you give, I suppose, a young person trying to make that next step?
I think consistency. Focus on the small gains and just try and be consistent with it, to be honest. I think there's a lot of, there's players who could have like big games here and there, but I think, and they could be called into county panels or club senior teams, and you think you're the bee's knees or whatever, but it mightn't work out. But so I just say, just work on small things. And even actually looking back on the documentary with Mick, he mentions something which is really important, is to know your limits and just do what you can do to the best that you can. I think that was a key line that I took out from the documentary, is just knowing your limits. Like, he knew he wasn't going to come out and score every game, like, and he knew to offload the ball and that kind of thing. And so yeah, for players nowadays, just try to be consistent and focus on the small little gains, because over a long period of time, that's where you're going to see the biggest, I suppose, development or strides in your performance. I think those little tiny gains.
Definitely. You answered this question earlier on, but maybe if there's a few players to add to this list, but the toughest player you played against and the best player you played with?
Probably toughest, I will have to say DC again. But there are a few other players, like, I remember marking, even in training games, Brogan, Bernard Brogan a few times. Even Alan Brogan was really hard to mark. He would always constantly move. I hated that with a player. Like, I wouldn't mind like a player who would just like kind of wait around the fringes kind of thing, and but like if a player is constantly moving, that's a head melt for a defender. So
you could mark me, Darragh, someday. I don't mind sitting around. If the ball just comes in, then swing it.
No bother. That'd be nice. Happily do that. Who else? I hate, like, I always found Mossy Quinn. I remember I marked him once in the game as well, and he's scored 2-1.
Darragh, isn't he?
Still playing, yeah, and he's still banging the goals in, and he was banging the goals in when I was marking him. So he's 39. 40. I don't want to say he's 40 because I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he could be. He's definitely in and around that, but yeah, still playing away, like. So they'd be probably the toughest players I've played against. And then in terms of best players I've played with, there's obviously been a few there as well. I have to mention probably Macaulay. I've mentioned probably as well Declan O'Mahony from the club, our other midfielder, who's played alongside Mick for years with the club and played a couple of years with Dublin as well. But for the club, he's been immense. Like, he's just he's just that club player that you always want around. So I'd have to say Declan from a club point of view as well. And then from
Okay, I think that wraps up the chat with Darragh and Nelson. Darragh was great with his time this week, and of course that podcast will be up as soon as possible. So a great chat with Darragh. And of course, guys, this podcast is sponsored by orgaretcher.com and Atak.ie. Use my promo code JMAC podcast to get 15% off on orgaretcher.com and get the best skins, gloves, and equipment on Atak.ie. Be attack minded. And if you're liking what you're seeing, like and subscribe on YouTube because the sport has been absolutely brilliant so far. I'd like to thank Darragh for joining me this week, and thanks for being Darragh. Much appreciated. Cheers, guys.